Welcome to Talk a Good Game, and it's the preview of West Ham United against Manchester City, live on BT Sport 1, kick-off at 5:30 from Upton Park. I'm Gio from Hammers Chat, and I've got Gonzo and Scott with me as well. Scott, let's start with yourself. What's your impressions of our visitors' Manchester City season so far? Are they doing poor, or do you think it's just a compliment on the rest of the Premier League that Leicester City are ahead of them and the likes of West Ham aren't that far off them?
I think this year it's just a freak season in the Premiership. I think City are a good side, got good players, they've got class in the side, but some teams, including ourselves, have just sprinted off and done miles better than people expected us to be. I mean, you thought about Leicester last year scrapping at the bottom, and this year up at the top. You could never predict that.
Gonzo, is your opinion the same, or do you think the likes of Manchester City, obviously Chelsea and Arsenal, are underperforming, or do you think it's just a case of a level playing field due to the money that the lesser clubs have got nowadays?
Well, that level playing field is going to be even more level next season with the new deal. Chelsea are obviously underperforming. City obviously have a very, very good squad, but even in their own terms, they're sitting on a transfer kitty of 260 quid because they've just had some Chinese investment. Obviously, they don't want to give it to Pellegrini because they've got a new manager coming in. So I think it's possibly a slightly false position. So, yeah, I think it is really time for clubs like Leicester, like us, to make hay because next season City really are going to spend.
You just touched on Pellegrini there. I'll ask you about that then. It looks like he's going to go and Pep's coming in. Agree, Gonzo?
Yes.
So what if Pellegrini wins trophies? They're still in all four competitions. Let's just say he wins the Champions League or the Premier League. Is it harsh to boot him out?
Yeah, but that's what the big clubs do. Di Matteo got booted out, didn't he, after he won the Champions League, pretty much. I remember Vicente Del Bosque when he won the European Cup for Real Madrid, and he won the league as well, and they got rid of him because they wanted somewhere else. That's just how the big clubs behave, I think, and City are no longer that sort of provincial small club.
But what can Pep Guardiola do that Pellegrini can't if Pellegrini goes on to win trophies, Gonzo, this season?
I don't think it matters. I mean, before Pep went in there, Bayern Munich won the treble, didn't they? And they beat every record there ever was. Yet that didn't stop them. They still got rid of that guy there, and Pep went in. Everyone wants a blue chip manager. The big clubs want a name, and Pellegrini, unfortunately, is not a name. And Pep's better. He's a better manager.
Scott, Gonzo there just said blue chip. I'm going to change that slightly to blueprint. Is Manchester City what West Ham should be looking to become with our move in the summer, potential foreign investment? Are they what you would consider to be the focus for us?
They're one of the biggest sides in Europe, if not the world. So yeah, we've got to look at sides like that. We're some time off being a Manchester City, but we're treading in the right direction. We've got to look at them, and we've got to be able to say we can't match them in the transfer kitty what we've got. But what we can do is sign good players to put around the players that we've got already and start to make that forward trek towards them. But sides like us, we've already proved we can already beat cities. On our day, we've got a squad that can beat City.
Well, we'll get your opinion later on in the show, Scott, if you think we will beat City this weekend. Gonzo, before we move on to our own team, apart from Payet, is there any players you think from West Ham United could get into Manchester City's starting 11 when both squads are fully fit?
Yeah, I think Winston Reid would get in there. I think probably Cresswell would be in with a shout. Kolarov's decent enough going forwards. Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot between Joe Hart and Adrian. Maybe Joe Hart's distribution slightly better. Yeah, I think there's one or two. You asked a question about Liverpool when we had Akabusi on, didn't you? And there was, there weren't too many of Liverpool that would have got in our team at the start. But I mean, Man City are a different kettle of fish. They clearly are a better team than us. But I think we've got a handful that we're getting.
Yeah, well, Scott, let's look at our own side then. Going into this one, we're in fantastic form at home. 1 loss in 9 home games for us. Man City are not the best side away from home this season, actually. They are in really good form, just not away from the Etihad. Scott, how do you think Bilic has set up his formation on Saturday night?
Again, just picking up what you just said, fantastic results that we've had. We've had a right good run. But you know me, I like my midfields. and it's an obvious one for me. I'd like to see Song in instead of Noble. I thought he played atrocious when I went up to Newcastle. I don't want him in. I want a strong midfield that's going to hold its line and it's going to protect the back four. City, on their day, they're unplayable. And what I want to do is make it as hard as possible for their key players to settle on the ball. I just don't want them to settle on the ball. I want to be at them and at them.
Gonzo, are you the same? Everyone who watches the show knows I hate three centre midfielders in the team. When I see three centre midfielders in the lineup, it gives me a headache. That's the one thing I do not want to see on Saturday night. Gonzo, how do you think Bullet should play this?
I think we go for them. I think we go in the way that we did. I think what Scott's talking about, the midfield, the big one is which Toure turns up. If the Barcelona Toure, the Toure of 2 years ago, the player of the season Toure turns up, we're in trouble. If the Toure turns up who's constantly whinging about his agent, he wants a new birthday cake, if that Toure turns up, then we could sort of dominate in midfield. So I don't think he'll go for the three. I think he's learnt his lesson. Depends if Lanzini's back. If Lanzini comes back, then he might go for... It was a necessity. The three was a necessity because he was lacking in the additional wide player. So I think if Lanzini or Moses is fit, then we probably lose one of those and we go back to our counter-attacking style. The big fear for me with City is actually Aguero is a streaky player. He hits these streaks and then gets injured. And unfortunately, he's just come back from injury and he looks like he's going to hit one of his streaks. So the defence are in for a tough time.
Yeah, well... keep your eyes on clarendonhue.info for the team news because it looks like Lanzini won't make it, but Moses is obviously that weak fitter, so he's probably in with a starting chance. However, we might see a striker arrive. Let's talk strikers then quickly. Scott, who do you want to see up front? You've obviously got Jelic in Valencia. There's a few chat about who's going to be the striker on Friday. It looks like it's going to be Fenerbahce's one. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Who do you want to see up front, Scott, on Saturday night?
Valencia. I don't want to see. I'm like Chris. I think we waste him. We put him out. He's not a winger. We put him out there. We string him out on the sides. Put him in the middle. Give him a bit of service to his feet. That's the way we want to play. And support him. That's what we need to do. The midfield needs to work really, really hard. They need to protect the back four, but they need to be up the field quick to be able to get the ball to him and support him with it. It's a fast pace, and we're going to have to be fit to be able to kick that pace up, but Valencia up front.
Gonzo, in your opinion, do Man City have a weak spot? If you were Bilic, you're telling your team there's a weak spot. What's their weak spot?
Well, you preempted me. It's their central defence. Otamendi, I don't think they pay big money for him. I don't think he's great. Company's out, I guess, is injured as seems to be the case these days. He's a very excellent player, excellent captain. He's out. I think we can get them a Mangala, Demichelis, whoever they play at the back there, and I think it's a really good reason not to pick Jelic, like Scott says. I mean, play Valencia up and play Payet right behind him, and then let's have sort of Antonio one wing and then Lanzini or Moses on the other, and let's go at their defence. Let's not invite them onto us. Let's have a real good go at them, and yeah, I think that would be their weak spot, central defence.
That's the front four I want to see as well. I think their fullbacks are just as dodgy. Fantastic going forward, very suspicious at the back. I think it's particularly Kolarov, like you said. I think he gets caught up far too often. Before I get predictions from these guys, and I've got a question that might trick them a wee bit as well, and we'll talk about our new signing in a very second. Hit the subscribe button while you're here, and do come on to hammerschat.com and click on the forum, interact with our fellow fans. But Gonzo, do you put Sam Byram straight into the team, and are you chuffed to get him?
Yes, I'm chuffed to get him, but I've not seen him play. Obviously, Scott's the guy to ask. Scott's a Yorkshireman. He's up there. He speaks with Leeds fans, so I don't know. I've never seen him play. Clips look quite promising. I don't think he will be put in. I think probably go for the safety first approach because Tompkins is very good defensively. I'm pleased that something was done because, as you know, I think Jenkins is absolute meh. I think he's a different player to last season, so I'm really pleased.
Scott, what's your thoughts on Sam?
I wanted him. The big thing for me, I mean, I live 40 minutes from Leeds. Leeds fans are gutted, absolutely gutted that he's come to us, and that says everything for me. I do feel he's more of a midfield than a right back, but I think he likes playing right back. But to put him, no, I wouldn't put him in for this one. Otherwise, he has a bad game and all of a sudden we're on his back. I'd like to see him sort of brought into the side gradually and given a chance.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I wouldn't blame Bilic if he started him, or Jenkinson actually, because I think it's almost like when we go into games over the last few weeks, it's almost like Bilic has already used one of his subs, Jenkinson for Tompkins. It's almost like he's used one. I think I just don't like the fact that we've only got 2 subs left to use during the game, if that makes sense at all. Right, before we do predictions, Gonzo, if we draw, is it a point gained or 2 points dropped in your opinion on Saturday night?
It's a point gained, because if we draw, we've picked up 4 points against Manchester City this season, which is surely a triumph by anyone's standards,
But would you not be slightly disappointed, given how the season's going, that Upton Park's becoming a fortress? Let's not shy away from that. We haven't been beat, apart from Bournemouth and Leicester. No one's beat us at West Ham, and that was all the way back in August. Would you not be slightly disappointed not to take all 3 points and really keep pressure on the teams above us?
No, I wouldn't, because I'm a bit of a realist, and I just really fear Aguero. You know what it's like. You go into the game on Saturday, you know when a player can hurt you. You know when you fear a player. I've watched numerous players at Upton Park this season, and very rarely do I see a player think, oh my goodness, he's going to cause us a lot of damage. Well, Aguero's one of those players, and that's their wild card. That's their joker. So no, with players like that, and De Bruyne and Toure, a point is a very, very good result.
Scott, what's your opinion? Are you the same? 2 dropped or point gained?
Be a point gained if we win. I'm not expecting much from it, to tell you the truth. I think they're going to start to push off now and really take the fight to Leicester, who I think will drop away, but particularly to Arsenal. If I was going to the match, I'd say we'd lose, because we always do when I go to matches. But because I'm not there, I've got them down for a win.
So what's your score prediction then, Scott? That's my next question. Give us your scoreline.
I think we'll do them 2-1.
Gonzo, neck on the line time.
Yeah, 2-2. And you know I'm always right with my predictions.
Once. You've been right once. I'm going 2-1 as well. I'm quite confident, actually. I've just got a wee feeling that there's a bit of a buzz around West Ham, and the signing today, I think, has just pushed that buzz even higher. And if we can get a striker in on Friday, I think the fans will just be really up for it on Saturday night. But anyway, Scott, Gonzo, thank you very much. I've been Gio. We've been hammerschat.com. Do come on to hammerschat.boards.net on the forum and claretonhue.info for any team news and information. Thank you.